Today, I'm taking bourbon from all across the gamut, from readily shelf available to allocated bourbons, and we're going to rank them on a tier list. Let's get into it. Hello everyone, welcome back to Brad's Bourbon Reviews. I'm Brad, and today we're back doing another tier list video, a little different than this last one. And I know it doesn't seem like it's been that long since I did a tier list video, but I recorded that video almost a year ago. And I edited it recently because I realized how bad the editing was, and went back and redid it. So this is a different video. We're going to take bourbons that are on this tier list. I got this from tiermaker.com, and it runs the gamut from allocated to like everyday shelfer stuff. And I'm actually going to do this tier list properly. I'm going to rank them from best of the best to bottom shelf, and there's a bottom category called never had it. So if there's a bottle in here that I've never had, I'm just going to throw it to the never had it list. I'm going to rank them in each tier. So there is, the tier lists are best of the best, top shelf, middle shelf, big hitters, and bottom shelf. And of course, never had it. So let's go ahead and get into it with the first one here. First one we have is Elmer T. Lee. Man, oh man. So it's definitely not best of the best for me. I wouldn't consider it top shelf. It's not even on my top shelf on my collection. It's actually sitting over here a little lower than that. I'm going to say it's a big hitter because I don't think it's bottom shelf, but I don't think it's quite middle shelf. That might change. I might have to do some restructuring here, but for right now, I'm actually going to change my mind. I'm going to put it in middle shelf for right now because it used to be a $40 bottle. Now that's up to like $80. It's kind of crazy for that, but it is a single barrel, so there is some inherent value there. Let's go ahead and move on to the next one here. This one is Old Fitz. I don't know what year that is. I'm going to say, let's go 10 year. I'm going to say it's definitely top shelf, not quite best of the best. It is good, but I don't think it's quite best of the best. This is a New Riff single barrel, not bottom shelf, not middle shelf. I think I would prefer an Elmer T. Lee over a New Riff. I'm going to put it in big hitters for now. We'll see. That may change. I do like the one I have. I don't love it. I think it's okay. It's definitely not bottom shelf. And I think that's a good placement for that one there. This is Cooper's Craft. Never had it. Never had Cooper's Craft. Up next, we have Basil Hayden. That's going straight to the bottom shelf, and that will probably be way farther down this bottom shelf. That's probably going to be my worst one on this list, at least if it continues to go that way here. All right, up next, we have Angel's Envy. I can't tell if this is the bourbon or the rye. I feel the same way about both of them. I don't like Angel's Envy, if I'm being honest. I'm going to put them in bottom shelf. I'm not a fan. I would rather have Angel's Envy than Basil Hayden, though, so we'll move that in front of Basil Hayden. Moving on to the next one. This is Very Old Barton. I can't, again, the labels this, I can't tell if this is, it looks to me like it's the 100 proof one. And for that, I'm going to put it in the middle shelf because that bottle's a banger. I really like the Very Old Barton if it's the white label 100 proof one. If we get into the other ones, I'm going to have to move it around, but we'll see. All right. So it's like Woodford Reserve, but not any bottle I recognize. That might be the double oaked, but I think it's just regular Woodford. So we're just going to say it's regular Woodford, and I'm going to put that in bottom shelf as well, but I do prefer it over the Angel's Envy. So it's going to go down in bottom shelf. I think Woodford's just okay. They say at the distillery that they get like there's 100 notes in their small batch bourbon. That's insane and not accurate. Woodford thinks Woodford is better than it is. And then, why not? It's their distillery. They should. Michter's Bourbon. So here's what's funny. I've never had Michter's Bourbon. I have the Michter's 10 year, but I've never had anything else from Michter's. It is on my list though. I need to broaden my Michter's horizons, and I'm going to probably do that next month. Well, July, because I'm going dry in June. All right. So next up we have Penelope 4 grain, which I do have that bottle. Going bottom shelf with that. I don't like it as much as I like the Angel's Envy, so I'm going to put it right there at the bottom shelf next to the Angel's Envy there because it's not good. It's not bad. It's drinkable. It's definitely my least favorite thing I've had from Penelope for sure. All right, up next is New Riff. Oh, so this is the one that I have had. All right, so I'm going to put this here, and I'm going to move this down to Never Had It because I have never had anything other than from New Riff, other than a New Riff single barrel. So big hitter for that one. I think it's pretty solid. All right, up next is George Remus. This is something that I fell in love with when I first got into bourbon. It was a bourbon that I really started to pick up cherry notes on, and so for me, it will always have a special place in my heart. And I think it's better than any of these, even still to this day. I'm gonna put it in big hitter behind New Riff. I think it's pretty dang good, and I think it's underrated. Moving on to the next one here. This is 1792 small. I can't tell if it's small batch or full proof. Pictures, guys, they're like this big. I can't see. I think it says small batch. If that's the case, we're putting it down here in. I'd rather have it than Angel's Envy, but I think I'd rather have Woodford. We're gonna put it right there at bottom shelf. Yeah, I think that's good. Then we have 1792 single barrel. That might be the only thing worse, actually, than Basil Hayden. My 1792 single barrel that I have is absolutely terrible. It's one of the worst things I've ever tasted bourbon-wise. I actually would prefer Basil Hayden over that specific one that I have. It's terrible. Yeah, I didn't realize that was on there. That's really bad. Moving on to the next one. All right, this one is Jack Daniel's Single Barrel Barrel Proof. Straight to the best of the best, baby. Especially some of those really good barrel picks. Oh my God, are they incredible. Especially in comparison to all stuff that's on this list. They're readily available. They're not highly expensive. They're really high proof. They're fantastic, and they're single barrels. And it's my favorite distillery, so what can you do? What did you think was going to happen when we got to this? Moving on to the next one. Elijah Craig Small Batch. I put it in the bottom shelf. I put it in bottom shelf because I'm not a fan of most Elijah Craig, and the stuff I do like isn't their lower proof stuff. But would I rather have Elijah Craig or Woodford? I think I'd rather have Woodford. But yeah, I'm going to put it there, I think. I might move those two further down once we get to it, but we'll see. Moving on to the next one. The next one is Knob Creek 12-year top shelf, baby. Middle shelf, actually. But I would rather have it than it's a high middle shelf. We'll do high middle shelf. I would rather have it than both of those for sure. But I still think I'd rather have an Old Fitch over the 12-year Knob Creek. All right, next we have Bullet Bourbon, which is one of my fiance's best ones. I'm going to put it here. I think it's bottom shelf, but I would rather have it than any of these other things here. I think Bullet is actually kind of slept on for what it is. I think Bullet's pretty good, especially if you're using it as like a mixer, especially the rye. The rye that is like the standard for rye whiskeys. Maker's Mark. Regular Maker's Mark? That's not fair to it. I'm kidding. I would rather have it than 1792, but I'd rather have it than Basil Hayden. All right. I'm being honest. I'm trying to be silly a little bit, but I'm being honest. It's pretty okay. I'm not a Maker's Mark fan. There are other. Hopefully, there's other Maker's Marks here that I can put. I don't see any other ones. There might not be, but that's where it stands for me. All right, moving on to the next one. This is Blanton's middle shelf for sure. I would rather have Blanton's, I think, than an Elmer T. Lee. Maybe not. I think I'd rather have Elmer. I'd rather have that. I think that's a good placement. Solid middle shelfer. People that are still flipping out about Blanton's, it's so funny to me. Like, it's finally become like available here again. I see it all over the place for retail. I do like it though. I do like Blanton's. The end all be all of bourbon to me, it is not. All right, Eagle Rare. All right, so this one I have a complicated relationship with because I like it better than the Knob Creek 10. I don't consider it top shelf, though. I'm putting it in middle shelf. I think it's the top tier of the middle shelf. Eagle Rare is actually what I drink every time before I do reviews because I get a cherry cola note on Eagle Rare, and I can pick it out very easily. And I know that if I can't pick it out, then I need to not do videos that day that require tastings because it's like how I judge if my palate's off or not. That's always the one I go to because it's always been consistent for me across the board. So I have a fondness for Eagle Rare, and I loved it, and then I didn't like it, and now I'm back to full on loving it again. So we'll see. But for me, I think it's the top half of middle shelf for sure. Moving on to the next one. I can't tell if this is Old Forester 1910 or 1920. We're gonna go 1910. I would rather have 1910 than Very Old Barton, but I think I'd still pick Blanton's. So we're putting it in the middle shelf there. See, this is a pain because, like, can we use the full picture, guys? Because this is not working for me. Can't read these. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to move these benchmarks down to the bottom, and we'll go through them at the very end, and I'll just pick a benchmark that I like, and we'll kind of go from there. All right, so this one's tough because this one is Booker's. Now, Booker's can really vary. Booker's varies quite a bit. My favorite Booker's of all time is the Kentucky Tea Batch. It's my favorite. I love it. I think it's really solid. But some of them are really not good. So it just kind of depends on which one. So I'm just going to take the Booker's brand as a whole here because I can't see what model this is specifically. So I'm going to put it in big hitters because I think that's a good, well, no, I'm going to put them, I think it's middle of the road. I'm going to put it down here behind Very Old Barton because, to be honest with you, there are some Bookers that are so bad I'd rather have Very Old Barton than them, but I think that's a solid spot for it. Moving on to the next one here, this is Buffalo Trace. I would rather have Buffalo Trace than almost anything in this list, and that includes, no, it doesn't. Elmer T. Lee Blanton's, but it's not. I like Eagle Rare better, and I do like Knob Creek better. So it's there. It's kind of the middle of the road bourbon, to be perfectly honest, and I don't mean that in a negative way. It's what it's designed to be. It's designed to be a bourbon that you just kind of introductory to bourbon. And, you kind of expand your horizons from there. But it is a solid bottle. Let's not get it confused. Buffalo Trace is fantastic. A lot of hype around the distillery, obviously, but doesn't mean they don't make good stuff. And their flagship bourbon's fantastic. This looks like another Bullet. I don't think I've had it because it looks like I see a top of a black label. And it's probably a single barrel, and I've never had a single barrel from them. So I'm going to put it under never had it. The next one is Redwood Empire Lost Monarch. Big hitter. Better to me than New Riff, better than the Remus. Not quite middle shelf. Or is it? Maybe it is. Actually, you know what? I'm going to put it in middle shelf. I am going to put it in middle shelf. No, actually, I'm not. I'm going to put it in top shelf. No, I'm not. That seems too high. I'm going to put it top here next to Knob Creek. I think that's a good spot for it. All right, we have a E.H. Taylor. This looks like E.H. Taylor barrel proof for me. E.H. Taylor barrel proof is fantastic. I love E.H. Taylor barrel proof. I have 2 batches. I have the last 2 batches, I think, from E.H. Taylor barrel proof. I think they are some of the best bourbon that Buffalo Trace makes. I really, really like it. And then I think this next one here, I see a few E.H. Taylors. And this looks like small batch. Also, to me, small batch, best of the best. I think I actually prefer small batch to the barrel proof, to be perfectly honest with you. I'm very curious about how they're going to do the Buffalo Trace Antique Collection now with E.H. Taylor. I want to see what that is. Very curious. All right, so we have another 1792. This looks like the Bottled and Bond, which I think is pretty good, but I'm putting it at the end of big hitters. I think that's Bottled and Bond. I can't tell. But yeah, if that is Bottled and Bond, I'm putting it there under big hitters. Up next, we have Early Times Bottled and Bond. Now, here's the problem I have with this. My brain says put it to the best of the best. The problem is it's like a $13 1 liter bottle. I can't in good conscience put it with the best of the best or even top shelf. But I'm about to do something very controversial here. I think it is better than anything in the middle shelf. And I think it's better than any of these other ones here. Early Times Bottled and Bond is a fucking banger of a bottle. I adore that bottle. Moving on to the next one here, another Elijah Craig. I'm putting it right next to the bottom shelf. I don't know which ones these are. And honestly, either one of them, if it's a small batch rye or a bourbon, I'm putting them there. Even with the barrel proof, they average out to be pretty just meh to me. Okay, moving on to the next one here. This is E.H. Taylor Straight Rye. Not a great rye. Not a bottom shelf rye. So I'm actually going to put it at the very end of big hitters because it's not bottom shelf. It's not that bad, but it's not great. I don't think it's as good as any of these things up here. Well, maybe if you're comparing it to Booker's, I'll put it at the top of the big hitters because I don't think it's quite as good as any of these up here. And I'm averaging out Booker's, right? So I have to kind of leave it at the bottom. Maybe I'll put it here because it's just okay. I think middle, just okay. I think that's a good spot for it, actually. Up next is Elijah Craig barrel proof. Top of back, the bottom end of big hitters, they vary so much. The C923 is one of the most overrated bottles I've ever heard of on the planet. I think it is just so overhyped. Not for me. It's too drying. It's just not great. And for that reason, but it's not bottom shelf either because it's like there's age to it, there's proof to it. It's not bad. It's just not for me. So I'm putting it at the back end of big hitters. I think that's fair. Rabbit Hole Cave Hill, and I know that just because I think that's I've never had anything from Rabbit Hole, so I'm throwing it at the end there. Heaven Hill Bottled and Bond is up next. I am putting that in the front runner for big hitters. I think that one is just so good. Or do I put it in middle? Or do I put it in top? I'm going to put it right here. All right, that's where we're putting it. We're putting it in middle shelf here. Middle shelf next to, in between Buffalo Trace and Redwood Empire Lost Monarch. I think that's a good spot for it. Evan Williams Bottled and Bond is up next. I'm going to put that in the big hitter category and leading the big hitter category because I think it's really good. It's not middle shelf though to me personally, so I'm going to leave it there for now. Maybe we might readjust these. All right, Jack Daniel's Old Number 7. This really hurts me to do it, but it is bottom shelf, but it is my favorite of the bottom shelf whiskeys. I am very partial to Old Number 7. I don't drink it a lot, but when I do, I really do enjoy it still. So I'm going to put it in the head of the pack for the bottom shelf, and nothing can beat that. Moving on to the next one here is Jefferson's. I've never had anything from them other than the Jefferson's Ocean, so I can't rate that one, so we're leaving it there. Jim Beam White Label. You're lucky that Basil Hayden is here, or otherwise you'd be in last place, my friend. Not good. Knob Creek 9-year. Going to throw that in the big hitters there. I think that's a good bottle. I like it better than Evan Williams Bottled and Bond. So we're going to put it at the top of the big hitters. Maker's Mark, Cask Strength. This is one of my least favorite things that they do. However, I think it's better than anything on the bottom shelf. And I like it as a whole better than Elijah Craig. And I like it better than 1792. So we're going to put it right there in the big hitters. I think that's fair. All right, up next we have Old Granddad Bottled and Bond. I think it goes into the big hitter category here. I think I like it. less than Knob Creek 9, but more than Evan Williams Bottled and Bond. I think that's a good placement for it. Now, the next one we have after that is Old Grandad 114, and that is king of the middle shelf here. Putting it there. Every time I go back to Old Grandad 114, I'm so surprised at how good it is. And the fact that it's only $30 is nuts to me. Moving on to the next one, this is Rare Breed. Bro, I love Rare Breed. It's going right to the top shelf. I don't think it's best of the best when you're comparing those other ones that are up there, but man, those are really good. And I'm actually I need to do this. I love Jack Daniels, but I think it is in the back of the best when compared to those. Moving on to the next one, this is Penelope Barrel Strength. I do like it. It's not my favorite Penelope though. I think it's firmly placed in the mid shelf here. I think that's a good spot in between Heaven Hill and Buffalo Trace. Another one of these is just such a hitter, dude. Old Forester 100. It's up there, dude. It's up there. There it is. Middle shelf. I think it's good. I think it's really, really solid. We really filled out the middle shelf here. I hope some stuff comes in that we can like spread out some of these other categories. Another thing from Rabbit Hole, never had them. Rock Hill Farms. Okay. Here's where we get interesting. I think Rock Hill Farms is fantastic, and I think it's better than Old Fitz, but I think... Oh, this is tough. Is Rare Breed as good as Old Fitz? No, I don't know. I can't put Rare Breed at the top of top shelf. I think it's the back end of top shelf, because it's not top shelf. Yeah, I think I'm going to leave it there. I like that. I like that placement. Moving on to the next one here. This is Jack Daniel's Single Barrel. Boom. How you like that? But you didn't see that coming that high up, did you? Better than Eagle Rare. And honestly, I think it's better than early times. I love Jack Daniel's Single Barrels. They are fantastic. They're underrated. Everyone talks about the barrel proof stuff, especially the rye. Don't sleep on the Jack Daniel's Single Barrels. Those are really good. I really want to do a Jack Daniel's Single Barrel pick. I so badly want to do that. So maybe that'll happen one day, and it might happen sooner than later. Moving on to the next one here. So this is Larceny. This is not Larceny barrel proof. So I have to admit, I've never had regular Larceny. Okay, now we're getting down to the nitty gritty here. Old Rip 10-year is one of my all-time favorite bourbons. It goes directly to the top of the best when compared to these. I love that bottle. It has always been one of my favorite bourbons ever since I tried it, and I finally got one earlier this year, and I love that thing so freaking much. Up to the straight top of the best. Moving on to the next. Evan Williams Black Label, bottom shelf, behind anything else. Except 1792 Single Barrel. I really don't like that bottle. Then we have Pappy 15. So I love Pappy 15. I don't love it as much as the 10, but I do like it better. The Pappy 15 is dope. I just personally prefer the 10. It's a personal preference thing. It's just my taste. I like it better. Not that it's overly oaked, but there's just some sweetness that is lost a little bit compared to the 10-year. I just like the 10-year. I've always been a 10-year guy. So it's close, though. All right, Weller 107, straight to top shelf. Better than Old Fitz. Better than Rock Hill Farms. I still feel weird about putting Rare Breed up here, but if we're talking just quality, it's got to be up there. Then we have Weller Foolproof, also top shelf. Ooh, maybe best of the best. No, I'm going to put them side by side. I'd rather have Weller Foolproof 107 any day than Rock Hill Farms. Then we have Weller Special Reserve. Now, I recently did do a blind video. I guess not recently. I did a blind video once where I blind ranked the entire Weller Rainbow, and Special Reserve came in first. However, I know objectively speaking that it is not best of the best, nor is it top shelf. I'm putting it middle shelf, but I'm putting it behind Jack Daniel's Single Barrel because I love those. Moving on to the next one. Woodford Double Oaked. Good Lord. Can't be top shelf, but high middle shelf. I mean, I like it other times better. It's so good. It's so good. I love it. Ooh, here we go. Michter's 10-year. Top shelf. Where would I put it in the top shelf? I think I put it here. Yeah, I think I put it there. That's a good one, I think. Victor's 10-year just recently was on a list video I did about the best bourbons for summer because mine, maybe it's a single barrel variant thing, mine tastes like peach rings, and I love it. Moving on to the next one here. We're running out of time here. Wild Turkey 101, Jesus Christ. Do I dare put Wild Turkey 101 at best of the best? It's not top. See, the thing, like, top shelf is tough because you think top shelf whiskey, like, I wouldn't order Wild Turkey 101 as top shelf. That seems fair. That seems fair to me. I don't know what you guys think. That seems fair to me. All right, moving on to the last ones here. Yellowstone. Okay, bottom shelf. I will say this. Yellowstone is good in cider for fall, but it's not great. I think I'd rather have it over... I think this is where it stops for me. I'd rather have it than Jim Beam, and that's really not saying much. All right, so here's what we're going to do here. We're going to say this is benchmark old number 8. So just a standard benchmark, that is bottom shelf. It goes above Elijah Craig for me. Then we're going to say this is benchmark foolproof. I think that's a big hitter. I don't think I put that there. And then we're going to say benchmark single barrel. And I think that they are around the same here. I think I put it like here. So that's it. What I'm going to do is I'm going to leave a link in the comments down below for you to do this with yourself. Do it with your friends. Do it with your family. Hell, make your own video about it. I'd love to see what you have to say. Comment down below. Let me know if I misplaced any of these. I'd love to hear what you have to say. Make sure you do that. While you're down there, make sure you leave a like and subscribe because we are this close to 5,000 subscribers. I will see you guys on the next one. Until then, cheers. A big thank you to all the Patreon supporters you see on screen right now.